I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here, we're live, we're back, and you're watching Buster Unmasked, and it felt so good to hear that music, but it won't be much longer. That music will be obsolete for me. I'm working on getting some custom music for the podcast, a whole new intro. You can see that back there. Got a new logo set up. Got a lot going on, man. Got a lot going on. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. We got a great show for you tonight. I've been looking forward to this show. My guest tonight, kind of a jack of all trades in the entertainment industry. And we're going to touch on every single thing that this man has his hands in, including his brand new thing. Maybe his biggest deal ever. I don't know. We're going to find out from him. But before we do, you guys know Sunday, September 14th at 8 p.m., I got the Dirty Dozens roast battle. Man, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be a blast, guys. If you've ever tuned into anything, you need to tune into this. It's going to be fun. These guys are going to shred each other head to head on the microphone. We got two matchups for you in this first event. And I tell you what, I'm going to plug this event. I got a little video I want to play. And then we'll get back and we'll get this show underway.
You already know who it is. We be bustin'. It's Big Buster, baby. And I got some dirty dozens for y'all. We be bustin'. Wrestling roast battle. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready. We be bustin'. Here we go. Who be bustin'? We be bustin' like Blassie, like William Perry. We hustlin'. Big in these streets like Big Buster. You a sucker like Lou Brother, who trusted? We be bustin'. Lick off shots, shouldn't get clocked. Knick knack, patty whack, give a dog a bone. Dirty dozens with my bros. Step into the zone, wrestling roast battle, leave that alone. We be bustin'. We be bustin'. We be bustin'. We be bustin'. We be bustin'.
Facebook is not working.
It looked like it's working to me.
But it let me on it.
All right, y'all, you seen right there, September 14th, Sunday night, 8 p.m., the debut of the Dirty Dozens Pro Wrestling Roast Battles. Got some good competitors here. Two of these guys are going to walk out of there that night $50 richer. And let's be honest, guys, for pro wrestlers around this area, a $50 payday for not even leaving your house, getting on your computer and running your mouth, honing your craft. Because whether you believe it or not, being able to talk trash is the most important part of professional wrestling. When I was a wrestler and first started, I would have told you bullshit. It's how you perform in the ring. But we all know the guys who can run their mouth the best get the furthest. You can have 5-star matches all day long, but if you can't talk shit, your career does not go as far as the guys who can talk shit. And as you can see around me, guys, I got my sponsors here. I want to thank each and every one of my sponsors because these guys believe in me. They believe in the idea. They think it can be successful. First off, I want to thank 101.5 FM, Talk in West Tennessee Radio, Jackson, Tennessee based. You can check them out on the radio, or you can log into them at talkinwesttn.com. talkinwesttennessee.com. Also, 103.5 Sports Talk, Sports Network, News Talk Sports. You can check them out on the radio, or you can log into these guys at newstalk1035.com. Any of your weather, breaking news, breaking weather, or sports talk in and around Jackson, Tennessee, and the West Tennessee area, these are the guys to go check out. When we were having all the bad storms, man, I'll tell you what, 101.5 FM, Talking West Tennessee, was the most accurate weather for our area. Me and my wife was jumping around from station to station. When we logged into 101.5, we didn't leave. They were spot on with everything. Also, I want to thank Glowing Hearts In-Home Services and Consumer Direct Services. Excuse me, folks. Look, if you have a relative that's in need of in-home care, holler at these people. They're based out of Caruthersville, Missouri. It's Glowing Hearts. Their priority is to care for you and your family, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I want to thank all the great people at the Boot Hill Sports Network on YouTube. That's BOOTHEEL Sports Network. It's got to be HEEL, folks. You get the double entendre right there. But look, these guys cover all of your local sports from in and around the Boot Hill area of Missouri. They're also the home of American Hostile Championship Wrestling and the Unified Wrestling Alliance that you can catch every single Saturday morning at 11 a.m. If you're into sports, whether it's wrestling or not, if you're into high school sports, go check out the Boot Hill Sports Network. They cover it all, man, and they do a wonderful, wonderful job. Also, I've already said, I want to thank Mark Manley with American Hostile Championship Wrestling, all the folks with the Unified Wrestling Alliance, and Terry Golden, man, Golden Media. These guys, without these guys, the Dirty Dozens would not be happening. I thank these guys so much for believing in me, believing in the concept, and think it can be a success. Like I said, for any of your breaking news and weather around West Tennessee or sports, go check out Talking West Tennessee, 101.5 FM or 103.5 FM. If you need in-home services for anybody in and around the Caruthersville area, go check out Glowing Hearts In-Home Services. They're the people to see. Boot Hill Sports Network, do not forget that. On YouTube, every single Saturday morning at 11 a.m., American Hostile Championship Wrestling and the Unified Wrestling Alliance. Obviously, American Hostile, owned by Mark Manley, the UWA, all the great folks there. I'm done plugging sponsors. It's time to get our guest on. Let me just say this, folks. My guest tonight, like I said, he's a jack of all trades, man. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. We all know he's a pro wrestler. He's also a personal trainer. He's also the owner and host at Undefined Radio. He's a social media influencer. And here's the big deal, man. After over 10 years, our guest tonight is a published author. We all know him as Big Daddy Storm, but the literary world knows him as Chad R. Martin. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Storm?
Oh, dude, you're living the dream. Just living the dream.
Man, I hear you, man. I don't see how you got time to do anything, man. I don't even see how you got time to be on this podcast, dude.
Dude, you got to make time for the things you love. Learned that a long time ago. You got to make time for the things you love.
You're right about that, dude. And, man, you got a lot going on. And look, this show's not going to be centered around wrestling, but that's where I want to start at right now for a few minutes.
Sure.
We're going to delve into kind of every one of these things, every one of these fires you got your irons in, man. We're going to talk a little bit about each one of them leading up to being a published author. But I got to know, dude, there is a lot of chatter going around, even from you guys, you and Brody. Is the Savage Brotherhood's in-ring careers about to come to an end?
Well, that's relative, right? You can't do this forever. You cannot do this forever. And the body tears down, and I stay in shape so I can stay doing this at a high level where you're gonna have to work to whoop my ass.
Right.
It ain't because I'm older, it's gonna be in there and you're going in there with the old man, it's gonna be a cakewalk. I'm gonna whoop your ass. You're gonna have to come earn this. And that's just how it goes. But eventually it doesn't matter. Your body tears down, it does all this. And I, for one, don't want to be in a wheelchair when I'm older. I got too much stuff I enjoy doing. Now, are we winding it down soon? No. Believe me, I still have goals I want to achieve, namely the UWA Unified Tag Team Championships. We have been overlooked for that. But we've been one of the most consistent relative tag teams in this whole area. While you got guys getting together, trying to get some success, and then they're falling apart. Who's the one tag team who stays the same and keeps doing what they say they're always going to do? That's us. Bar none.
Team F8, Team F8, FO, man. If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what it is. So, no, if you're thinking we're trying to quit tomorrow, for those of you out there, because I've heard that rumor too, because of what I said with our last shirt design, right? I just launched our new shirt design.
Right.
Which is cool. We'll launch it next week. I'm excited about it. It's badass.
Dude, I couldn't believe how much facially, I mean, it's dead on, dude. It looks just like you guys. It's one of the best ones I've seen, dude. I'll be honest with you. Absolutely one of the best ones I've seen.
Thank you. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to roll this one out. I've already had people who are just interested in it, and I'm glad they are. But we're going to have a good time. We're not done yet. We ain't done yet. There are goals and goals ahead. So,
look, you mentioned those UWA World Tag Team titles, and in December, there's going to be a huge UWA Tag Team tournament with tag teams from all over the place, and you guys have already earned your spot in the tournament by recently beating Team Double Stuff at the Rumble on the River 6, man. Talk to me about that match, because I called that action, man, and it is always a blast at Rumble on the River, man.
Oh, yeah. This is our second year doing it. And it is a blast. It's fun to do. But and it's funny because the TV audio really doesn't do justice to how much the crowd was actually behind us, right? It's a weird, freaky thing. There were actually chants of brotherhood and stuff like that before we even went on air for what you were calling that match. But the match itself, Brody and I had something we wanted to prove. That we could go out there with these young, hot tag teams who are lightning quick and all that and still tear it up, throw it down, and prove that we are absolutely the team that you have to step up to beat. You can attack us, and that's great. We're made for durability. All those years of fighting the asylum, doing all that, these bodies are made for durability, buddy. There's nothing and nobody who's been in that ring that we haven't seen. And there ain't nobody covering those guys we used to fight. So we're not scared of anybody. So, and I think Team Double Stuff found that out the hard way. Like, yeah, they're going to do the fancy moves. But at the end of the day, you're just getting smacked around. You're an ego killer away from lights out.
Man, the ego killer be shutting it down for you guys.
It does.
I say it, man. When you hit the ego killer, it's usually over. Lights out, 1, 2, 3. But let me talk to you about something right quick. How does it feel to go from being one of the most hated tag teams in and around Missouri, really the whole Mid-South area? But, man, when you guys first come into Missouri, these fans hated you guys from day one for good reason, man. You came in and y'all laid the moonshiners out, left them laying, burnt Jason Vaughn, and truthfully, he's popped up a time or two, but we really ain't seen him around regular since then. Talk to me about what it's like for you guys to go from being booed out of the building to now these folks man, are cheering y'all like crazy.
Well, it's what me and Brody have always said. The one thing that the fans can realize is we're going to tell you the truth. Now, whether you like that truth or you hate it, it's still the truth. When we came into Missouri, we came in because everybody was talking about how you need to go to Missouri. If they come to Missouri, they're not going to do this and they're not going to do that. Don't tell us what we're not going to do, because we're going to show you each and every time exactly what we are in fact going to do, because we don't take orders from nobody. We are who we are. And when we step into the ring, you realize that. They had to learn that the hard way. And ever since then, and you can look back on every match we've had in Missouri, there's always something tricky and underhanded has been going on by management. And that's not us doing that whole heel wall. Oh, there's their fault we lost. All you have to do is watch the tape. We're not telling anybody anything that has not been the truth of the matter. And so the fans can go back and watch it. The fans know. They've been wanting to cheer for us. And the moment we gave them reason to, that was it. I mean, we pulled that dude's hair the other night. The referee's asking them, did they pull the hair? And they're like, no. And they saw it.
I seen it, man. I loved it, dude. I thought it was it's remarkable, the switch in the fans. And here's the thing. It ain't like y'all changed any of your tactics. You ain't out there kissing babies. You ain't out there hugging girls. You ain't out there pandering to the fans. Y'all are the same team you always were. But, man, these people are going crazy for you guys now. And here's the thing. You've got your shot December 6th in this tag team tournament. And honestly, like you said, you guys faced off against Steel Cross to become the first ever UWA World Tag Team Champions, right?
No, we were in a number one contenders match. So
that's
we
right.
We fought Steel Cross for the American Hostile Championships, and that's when Mark Manley got involved.
There you go. That's what it was.
That was our manager of the next show, right?
And I feel like that's kind of when the change started to happen for you guys. I feel
that's
like
right.
In y'all's mind, I feel like you kind of realize that, hey, we can't rely on none of these. We can't rely on Money Mark. We can't rely on any of these other guys. If we want this stuff, we got to go out here and do it on our own, man.
Yeah, and that's why we don't change how we wrestled. I'm going to tell you the shoot truth here. And that's because people look at us and look at our age and don't want to give us an opportunity because they look at us and think, well, your time has passed. We have too many young guys out here. Well, show me those young guys and what they've earned. Show those guys to me. Show me any long-lasting tag teams who has worked as hard as we have in the amount of time that we have at that. And show me how they deserve more. Deserve ain't got nothing to do with it. We go out there and prove each and every time we belong, that we are true professional wrestlers. We're not circus clowns. We're not out here just entertaining. We're not flipping and flopping. We are old school wrestling. And I don't care what you do. Nothing beats old school, and that's us.
And there you go, man. Y'all got the shot. Could very well become UWA World Tag Team Champions on December the 6th. That's a show anybody in Missouri does not want to miss. It's probably going to be the biggest card in and around Missouri in a long time. There's going to be tag teams from all over the place vying to become the UWA World Tag Team Champions. And the UWA, let's talk about that for a second, and then we're on to the next thing. The Unified Wrestling Alliance is growing each and every week, it feels like, man. New companies are coming on board. The UWA is actually creating a territory. So talk to me about that. You talk about old school. It don't get no more old school than a territory, creating a territory.
Well, it's an idea that's been percolating for a while. Johnny had talked about it one day, and we were sitting there talking about it, and I had this idea. You know, I've always wanted to do something like the old NWA was, right? And Johnny had mentioned it one day. I'm like, dude, I've been thinking about this for so long. And he's like, let's do it. Let's put this together. And so he got with a couple other guys that started growing. It took it a little bit to gain some traction. Then Mark came on board. All right, and then it started. And Mark has been full tilt on really pushing this. And now, look, we're up to 7, 8.
I think it's 8 now.
I got to look and see. I think we're at 8 now. But that's companies that are coming on board from all these different areas now who are going to have talent involved all over to show and be able to work different places. I think that's the best part about UWA.
Right.
Stuck in one home location, that's it, or the next town over, next promotion over. You have an opportunity to go to Missouri, you go to Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, wherever. And a place like UWA, and we're trying to run it like the old NWA was, your company is still your company. We don't tell you how to run your company. No one tells me how to run mine.
Right.
I don't work how to run his. But when it comes to UWA, you jump in there and say, all right, what is our goal? What is our decision here? And it's run like that. I love it. I think it's great. I think there's so much more opportunity for growth, and I think you'll see even more coming on board in the future.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, Mark's a hustler. I don't think nobody can deny that. Mark is a hustler. He's out there. He is making this thing happen, dude. I have to give him credit on that. And I'm like you. It kind of laid stagnant for just a little bit, man. It took it a little bit of time to pick up some momentum. It's kind of like that snowball. It was barely rolling, man. And then finally it got to rolling. And like I said, I feel like every week Mark hits me up and says, well, we got a new member of the UWA, and I got to try to learn every piece of talent from every single company, kind of try to keep up with what's going on in each company. I'm finally starting to get in the groove of it, but man, I'll tell you what, there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on with the UWA. There's a lot going on with all these affiliate promotions, man. Each one of these companies have their own champions. That's why the UWA has created a world champion. The UWA world champion right now is currently Bullwhip Ballard, and the UWA world tag team titles have been held up. Steel Cross was the first UWA world tag team champions, but they were stripped of the titles for failure to defend. And now December 6th going to have a huge tournament, and you guys could very well walk out the brand new UWA World Tag Team Champions. Tell me a second about what that would mean to you guys, Storm.
Well, it's a justification for a near 30-year career, right? Of where you're just doing these other towns and these single shows, these single promotions, and you're getting out here running with some of the best to prove that hard work pays off. Your loyalty, your drive to professional wrestling will pay off. And that despite the odds, if you just do it and work hard and prove to everybody you can do it, that's all the justification right there. People say titles don't mean anything. You don't need titles to be over. And that's great to hear when you're not owning a title, and it feels good for you to say that, because then you don't feel bad not having one.
Right.
These titles back here, I love those things. Every one of them. They mean something to me. I mean, because the promotion's saying you guys can help carry us forward. That championship belt represents that. And if that's not your goal, I'm not in here just to do. I want to be the one that the company says, I need to lean on you guys because I can depend on you. You're trustworthy, and you can represent my company and take it forward. That's what it means. To be the face of UWA tag team, that would be awesome, because they're saying, hey, look, you're the tag team. You're the guys that are going to have to carry us for the next little while. Let's go. Let's see what you can do. It's on your shoulders.
And you need, hey, that's the whole goal, really, man. I mean, honestly, it is a big weight on anybody's shoulders to be the champion in the face of a company. It's as simple as that. They're putting all their eggs in your basket right there. Mm-hmm. They believe that you guys are the ones who can carry this title forward, make it more prestigious than it already is, and pave the way for the guys coming behind you.
That's right. And that's how I want. You know what? You asked me about this, about how much longer we got. The way I want to go out in this business is doing business the way you're supposed to. The transitioning from one generation to the next.
Right.
I think it's the best way to go out. It's the way I want to go out. A lot of people want to win their last match or all this other stuff. That, to me, is more ego-driven. I want to get back to the business I've enjoyed working in and being a part of. And this is the way to do it.
And here's my opinion of that. If you've been in the business, you've had your time, your spotlight, and you got enough clout behind your name that you can give that next guy the rub when your time's done, that is truly what the business is all about. That's how we create the next generation of professional wrestlers. That's how we keep this business alive. Hey, look, we're all of us are always on the backside of our careers. Once you've been going a while, it's all about the young guys coming up and the young guys after them and so on and so forth. And somewhere down the line, guys have to set an example for how this business is supposed to be handled and how things are supposed to be done. Look, if I had my druthers my way, if I can give some young kid the rub by beating Buster Johnson or the Hellraiser, and I know I'm done, that's what I want to do. I want to give somebody that rub because now it's their spot. It's their time to try to run with this ball. And I think everybody in the wrestling business needs to take note of that and maybe practice that, you know?
Well, they should. I mean, that's the way you go out. It's the way you came in. It should be the way you go out.
Right.
I mean, it's not the win, it's the work. And the work continues when you're gone. And so you want to be sure that people are working it the right way.
Right. I agree with that 100%. All right, Storm. That's it with wrestling right now. I want to move on now to you being a personal trainer. If I'm thinking right, I read somewhere where you started personal training in maybe 2000.
Well, yeah, I was doing a little bit of stuff here and there. And, I wasn't doing a lot of it, but I was doing a little bit of it. But because I was trying to get into shape and doing all this stuff, I've been wrestling for a few years now and was really trying to transform my body. Then I'd ask people how to do it. And it's like, well, one of the guys that I helped get into the business, he owns a gym and is a personal trainer. So he helped me get licensed, helped me get into it and start doing it. So I would do it off and on, between my shoot job. But I really got heavy into it until the last, 6, 7, 8 years. And then I really just said, you know what, let's do it. Let's help people. Because I'm at that stage of my life again to where I just want to give back to people and help people achieve I train an 80-year-old lady and a 72-year-old lady that are just can do everything I can do, probably better, definitely more mobile than I am. I mean, but it makes it different in their life and prolonging their life, right? None of that happens. Your quality of life is everything. When you're young, you don't think about it. I love helping older people, my age and up, because they're trying to extend their quality of life. That's where it matters to me the most at. And I get a kick out of it because we have a lot of fun doing the personal training. It's not work. It's fun. There's a lot of work involved, but you try to make it fun. Your personality is everything.
Right. And and here's the thing, it can be a lucrative business. My brother owned a gym for over 30 years. And man, I seen people come in, personal trainers that would come in and train people. And man, like you said, everybody from other professional athletes to 70, 80-year-old men and women. And you would be surprised. You wouldn't, but most people would. You'd be surprised at what it does for these people's confidence. Mm-hmm. When they start getting in shape, they come in there thinking, I'm not going to be able to do that. And after a couple of weeks, once they're in the groove, man, then they're wanting to do more. They're starting to push you to push them to do more, man.
Well, they are, because they're surprised at what they can do. One of my clients, and I'll share this real quick. She does, they have a dog, kennel business, right? But she also has dogs that are search and rescue dogs. So she goes out, she's 72 years old. And because she's been training me as long as she has, she's able to get up and over that rubble. So they have to do rubble stuff. Like when a building's collapsed, they got to go in there. This flood in Texas, they were just down there doing this. Again, she's 72 years old. And she's just getting it with all these young folks down there. And she didn't realize how much better she was until it was about 3 or 4 months in. She's like, I got to tell you, I feel so much better. I didn't know I had the energy. Because she didn't know she could still do it. Right. And now she's keeping up with all of them. And it's good to see, you see it in their eyes, you hear it in their voice, the happiness that they've achieved. Like, I can't believe I can do this. People are always telling you when you're older, don't, be careful. You shouldn't, don't do this. What are you thinking? Stay away from the negativity. You should be going out to try to prove yourself better.
And it makes you feel young. I don't care what anybody says. Believe it or not, you can't tell it by looking at me. But I've spent many hours in the gym, man. When I was young, breaking into wrestling business, my brother had just got his gym. And literally, I would spend all day in there sometimes, man. I mean, all day, man. And you see so many people come in and they're one thing, and within a month or two, if they stick with it, man, their whole attitude, their mentality, their personality completely changes. You see a whole new person. They start to realize that it is possible. They forget that it ain't possible. They start realizing it is possible, and then they start wanting to do more. It's amazing, man.
It's great. I love it. And so that's how that happened, dude. And so I still do it, and I love doing it. And it's probably something I'll always do.
Yeah, man. Undefined radio. Let's break into that, dude, because I'm really intrigued with the undefined radio. When did you actually start undefined radio?
Dude, so all of this becomes because of wrestling. Let's get this out of the way real quick.
There you go.
Why I have all this stuff, what I do. If you'd have known me before 95, I was a whole different person. You wouldn't believe that was this guy. All right. Totally different guy. You all right? You good?
Man, I was down there trying to work on some of the settings and click myself right out. Yeah, I'm good, dude. Keep on going.
All right. So wrestling, I used to be shy, like scared of my own shadow. I wouldn't talk to people at all. My very first wrestling match, my trainer said, "Hey, I need you. What are you doing tonight?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "Why?" He said, "Can you be in Brownsville, Tennessee at 7?" I was like, yeah. He said, "Good. You're working tonight." I'm like, "Wait, I'm working. What does that mean?" "You're wrestling, dude." I'm like, "I don't have any gear. I got you covered. Just come on up." Dude, I drove up with my family up there, and I was terrified. I weighed 185 pounds, Buster. 185 pounds. I walked in there, damn spandex tights that were too big, sagging in the ass, right? Like no chest. I walk out there, long ponytail hanging down to my ass, and got my ass whooped. But a funny thing happened. My music started playing when I was in the back getting ready to go, and I was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" I'm just having a nervous breakdown. I walked out that curtain. The fans started cheering because they hated the guys wrestling so much. And they were cheering for me just automatically because they hated him. And my fear went away. I mean, every piece of anxiety, my fear, all of it just went away. It was the weirdest feeling. It's hard to describe that to people who've never had that experience. But it just went whoof. And from that moment on, I can't stop talking. I can't stop.
I was just going to say, I'm going to call bullshit on I was shy, man. But I was the same way. I had a big issue with stage fright when I first got into wrestling. Look, around my people, my friends, I can be the life of the party if I want to.
Sure.
But man, put me out in front of people I don't know, and man, I had stage fright so fucking bad. But I was kind of like you, man. I'd get to the show. Once I got dressed in my gimmick, that nervousness is still there, but it kind of started fading away.
That's right.
And then as it got closer, the closer the match came, faded away more. And when my music hit and I broke that curtain, man, it just all kind of went away. And then I always viewed it as it's real. When you go out of that curtain, it's real.
Exactly.
No matter what you're doing, you've got to look at it as it's real. You've got to treat it like it's real. So when you break that curtain, that's kind of how I always looked at it. And man, it turned me. I was never an introvert. I was only an introvert around people that I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Me too. I was the same way. And buddy, that happened. So fast forward, and then we had a publishing company, me and a doctor friend of mine up here. And in a small town where we're at, it's hard to get enough clients. So that business lasted about 4 or 5 years. We shut it down, and I wanted to do something else. And I always loved podcasting. I thought I always wanted to be a sports broadcaster when I was young anyway. And I was like, well, I'm going to open up my own podcast site and just have people who have podcasts and do it. And a buddy of mine just happened to suggest, "You ever thought about having a radio station?" I'm like, huh. And my ideas always start out, I wonder if, or what if. And I start down the rabbit hole trying to figure out how to make it happen.
Right.
So I figured out how to make a radio station, an internet radio station, because that's where everything's going to anyway. And dude, that was 2017. So here we are 8 years later doing it. And it was a cool thing. I had a morning show from Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. We broadcast football every Friday night, high school football.
That's what I was going to say.
Night. So it's just one of those cool things that I've done and created because I have so many interests. I mean, I don't ever want to be one of those people when I get old say, well, I wish I would have tried that. Or what if I'd have done, dude, I'm going to jump in and do it. I may fail, and that's okay.
It's better to fail. It's better to fail than not try. Simple as that.
Exactly. I'm like, I will go down swinging. I may suck, but I'm going to go down swinging. And that's how radio came about.
And it's really a cool thing because, like you just said, I just plugged the Boot Hill Sports, and that's what they do. They do local high school games around the Boot Hill of Missouri. And here's the thing. It's just like pro wrestling. It gives these people a chance who can't get out to these games live but want to see them. Mm-hmm. It gives them a chance to see these games, or even if you're not broadcasting the game, at least they can hear it like old-timey sports radio. Yeah. They can get that play-by-play and know what's going on. It's good for the community, man. It builds the community up.
It does, and I'm all about the community and supporting your community, right? Like supporting businesses within your community is a big thing for me. I love that. I think that's great. Like I could take the audio from your show and put it on my radio station as a weekly show.
Right.
I may talk to you about that after the show. Now I think about it, but it's easy to do. And that way it's something that's another product. Your voice is heard in a whole nother area. And it's a way to drive people to your live shows when you're doing them. You know what I mean? So one can feed the other. It's just getting people to realize it.
And at the end of the day, the modern era, it's all about content. I don't care what the hell you're doing, whether you're on social media, whether you're doing radio, whether you're doing streaming television, whether you're doing real television. That's why these TV stations pay so much money for rights to different things. Is because it's about the content. You've got to have content. The more content you have, the more opportunity you have to draw more eyes and ears to your product.
Because this is always in your hand or in your pocket or in your purse. This is never far away, and people live through it and on it.
So here's the thing that I and it's not on here because I ran out of room to get all this on here, but people don't know that. Some people do, but a lot of people may not.
Yeah.
Man, you're somewhat of a musician too, man. You're a hell of a singer.
Well, yeah, let's not stretch it.
Well, I mean, no, you look. Look, I'm not saying your name should be in lights, but what I am saying is, for most people, most normal people who sing suck. Yeah. Honestly, they suck. Dude, I don't even sing in the car by myself because I know I suck, man. But not you. You got a voice, dude.
I did. My mom raised me on Elvis, right? She named me after one of the characters in his movies. After the character Chad in Blue Hawaii.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah. So she named me after that. And growing up, she would put me in front of the record player for you kids. It was this box, had some discs, had a needle, went round and round.
If it skipped, you put a penny on top of it, man, to keep it down.
Make sure it would work. But, so I grew up with Elvis, and I learned how to sing like Elvis. And then when I got older, I was in choir for a couple of years, but I did music theater. And my son, I watched him do, you had Deacon on it, all right? So in high school, he was doing community theater. And I always wanted to be an actor, but was always too scared to try it. I've been wrestling for years at this point, and I saw him in Wizard of Oz one night. He'd done several things in Wizard of Oz. And I want to do that. And so a buddy of mine started running the local community theater. He's like, you ought to come try out. So Dracula was my first role. Like I played Dracula in Dracula. And then we started music theater. Dude, let me tell you, that was the scariest stuff I've ever done in my life. Singing in front of people terrifies me. I mean, that's to this day terrifies me.
Well, let's stop right there for a minute, Storm. Talk to me about that aspect because, like you said, you'd already been a pro wrestler. But once you get past those nerves, especially back in the day, we didn't look at ourselves like we were actors or anything like that. We were wrestlers. So talk to me about You're used to going out now and doing dumb shit in front of fans at wrestling shows all the time.
Right.
Sometimes you're over it, sometimes you're the butt of the joke, but it don't matter as long as the fans love it, and you get comfortable there. So talk to me about that transition from wrestler to now your own stage, and then you're not only just doing theater, you're doing musical theater too. Let's talk about that transition for a second.
Acting in front of a live crowd stuff. It is nerve-wracking because, dude, you got to be on it. You have to know your lines. You got to know the other people's lines because you got to know where to come in. And then when disaster strikes and someone forgets their lines, you better have the ability to improv. And wrestling, once again, saved me so many times on stage. I can't tell you how many times people come up after and go, dude, you saved me out there. Because they would do something and get off track, and I pop out of line and get us back on of something that may not even be written. But you got to get to that next point and get to that next line to let the show go forward. But it is nerve-wracking. Theater is nerve-wracking. And when I had to sing the first time, oh, my God. Oh, dude. I was Captain Hook playing Peter Pan. And I was Captain Hook, and oh, geez, dude. But I've been everybody. I've been Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, which is probably my favorite part. I've done Lord of the Rings. We've done everything. Oklahoma. I mean, some of the big productions. I've done about 20 shows, I think, in all.
That's cool, man.
Fun. But wrestling helped me out through that.
So let me ask you this. You had to choose one. You more in love with theater or wrestling, man?
Oh, wrestling, dude.
Wrestling.
Because wrestling, when you're trying to tell people about wrestling, especially, it's, you've always had to have the fake conversation and all this stuff. I'm like, you'll never understand it until you get past that mindset that we're like every other show you enjoy watching.
Right.
The difference is we don't have the stunt man. We are the stunt man. And we don't get 3 takes. You get 1. And so it's a whole different level. We don't have to, if you're in a movie, you can't hear the audience reaction. In this live theater in the round scenario where the world is fighting, it's an instantaneous reaction.
So it's just like wrestling. You're getting that, whether you fucked up or whether you didn't immediately.
Son, yes. Quickly. And so it's really cool. It's, and that's why I always love wrestling. That's why I'm going to miss it. That's why guys hang around forever and stay way past their expiration date. It's because it's a hard drug to kick. The habit is just lifelong, and trying to kick that habit is tough. Someone asked me when I retire from the ring, I could always go and be a manager. No, I can't, because I can't keep my hands off people. I don't think I can do it.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I feel like when your active career is over, I feel like there's always going to be a role somewhere for you behind the scenes, whether it's producing, whether it's making commercials for the wrestlers, or whatever, man. I feel like you're instantly going to have maybe even a lot more opportunities behind the scenes than maybe you ever had as a wrestler. Because
I don't mind that either. I would love to do that. Anything where I can help and keep the business moving forward and helping guys. If that means helping people grow, that's fine. I don't mind it because I love the business. I just love it. It would depend on the opportunity and where, but I love performing, and it's just performing once. But that's the thing about retiring from wrestling. I'll go back to theater because I'm not going to be able to not do it.
Right.
I need the crowd. It's just, and it's kind of the thing about writing, right? It's you're still performing in a way, and you're still entertaining if your stuff is any good. And I think that's always the key. There's everything I've tried to do. I've tried to at least be entertaining enough where people are like, okay, I'll tune back in for that.
I mean, you're still painting a picture, whether it's in a wrestling ring, whether it's on stage in a play, or whether you're writing a graphic novel. For me, here's the thing, the way I look at writing, you have to make people be able to see those words in their head.
You do.
Every word you put down, people, as they're reading it, they need to get a mental picture of what's going on completely.
Yeah, and like Lord of the Rings is one of the most legendary book series out there, right? Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. The problem is I hate reading those books because they're so wordy. Like I'm throwing words in there just because I know big words. And me, I'm a descriptive writer. I want to write to where you can see it, like you said, happening before your eyes. Like as you're reading it on the page, it's visualizing in your mind what's happening, what's playing out. Those to me are the best writers, and I love that.
Right. In early 2000, man, actually it wasn't even 2000, it's probably 1999. Internet was still in its infancy. Wrestling companies, they had chat rooms more than there wasn't no just go on Facebook and just talk about anything and it's all there. Any wrestling was in chat rooms, and I got to where I would come home from the KAW shows and I started writing recaps for the shows.
Yeah.
But I wrote them, like you said, I didn't try to use big words. I tried to paint the picture so as somebody's reading what I wrote, they could actually see the action going on in their head in the wrestling match, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a canvas. It's a canvas and it's an art. And if the canvas is blank, it's our job. It's your job to paint that picture vividly so people can see it.
Yeah, and it is your sole job to do that. I mean, entertainment across all these mediums still comes down to one thing. Can you relate the story so people can understand and enjoy it?
Right.
And it's nothing more difficult than that until you're trying to do it and think you're great. And it's like, oh, but you have to work at it just like you do anything else. People aren't born into this business great at the business.
Right.
You still have, well, it's like training, right? When people are training and all of a sudden, I've heard this 1 billion times and it burns me up. Well, he must not have been trained good. That's not necessarily true, because you can only train somebody so much in training. They still have to get in front of a crowd and apply everything they learn. They can have 5-star matches in training, but when they get in front of that crowd and the lights are on, the pressure's on, all these foreign eyeballs are looking at you and judging you, and you are being judged.
Right.
How do you handle that? And you have to grow into that. It's not easy. Some people it takes longer than others.
Well, here's the thing. You can teach guys the moves and stuff, but you don't really learn how to work until you're out there in front of that live audience, because then you get that instant reaction. If you fuck up, they know it immediately and they let you know it, especially at a wrestling show. And that's where I feel like it's easy to take somebody, and there is people that can, even in training, just never get it. Just never get it for some reason. So, some people pick it up fast. Some people it takes a little longer. And then there's some people that they can train or be even be on shows for 20 years and still really have no clue what it's really about.
That's so true.
And I felt like I learned more the minute I started actually wrestling. That's when the real learning started about this business, because there's no safety net out there. If you screw it up, you screw it up. There is no take backs. It's there. You got to learn from it. You have no choice.
Yeah. And if you can't learn that, you're gonna die out there. That's gonna be it, and you're gonna wash out. And the best ones they stick through it. Like failing to me has been my biggest. It's been the best tool I've ever had, is failing. All right, because you don't learn nothing from succeeding. You learn everything from failure, because succeeding, when you're doing it's just like an extension of what you've been doing. But failure is all the things you've done wrong. So that's the tool you have to work to start getting better at whatever given thing you're doing. Right. If you're not failing, something's wrong. Something is wrong there, because nobody goes through this life without failing. So, people who say, well, I've never had this or I've never done that, I'm like, bullshit. I fail all the time. And I learn from it and try not to do that thing again. How can I improve off of it?
Yeah, you learn more from your mistakes than you ever will from your wins. You learn more from your losses, man, because you got to go back and look at reality. I mean, here's the thing. Here's in the wrestling business, and it's always got me, when a guy can look at his own match and it is the teetotal shits, and everybody that ever watched it knows it, but for some reason this motherfucker believes it was good, then that to me, that's the biggest problem. If you can't look at your own stuff and be your own worst critic, you're already got an issue in the wrestling business, because the wrestling business, honestly, is built on failure. All the guys who succeeded in the big time, they failed along the way to get there.
Oh, they did. And I believe that so much too, boy. You have to be able to look at yourself and go, okay, oh, that was bad. Oh, that was bad. You'll see things that are good. I don't care about those, but those bad things,
There
I got to
go.
because that's horrible.
Right. I'm the same way, man.
I never want to look at me and go, nah, I don't believe in that guy. When I walk out there, I want them to know the minute I step through the curtain, like, oh, shit, what are we about to see here? And then from that first move on, they're like, oh, okay, this motherfucker for real.
Dude, I felt like that was always my best asset in the pro wrestling business. Look, we've all got matches that's got botch spots in them, flub moves, all this shit. But the one thing I always felt like is when I got in that ring, those fans could believe in me, the Hellraiser. Whether I was a bad guy or a good guy, they know they was fitting to see the shit go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and the fans are always going to remember the person, not the move.
There you go.
They're like, well, that's Big Daddy Storm. Oh, that's the guy that did the drop kick thingy. Let me be Big Daddy Storm, not the person who did the drop kick thingy.
And I think young guys need to really take that to heart, because I feel like a lot of times, and I think it's just wrestling in general now, because wrestling has really overall become more of a spot fest than it is slowing down, telling elaborate stories. And it's not really the guy's fault. It's the era. The way I look at it, we always say the young guys, but I'm trying to stop saying that, because it ain't really, most of the time, it's not their fault. They're doing how they were brought in the business, how they were trained, and how they were taught to see the business is what they're doing. You know, but I feel like I feel like if they would, it's more about the persona, the character, and connecting with the audience than it is doing 1,000 moves. Look, obviously I didn't fly. I mean, honestly, my whole career was built around just being rough as hell, a killer clothesline, and I could run spots. I run spots with people. I wasn't one of the big guys who just wanted to get in there and bounce off each other. I hated that. I hated working big guys. I always would rather work a smaller guy, because I was taught to wrestle. I was taught to run spots. I was taught to do that. And that's what I want to do. And when you get in there with another big guy, especially back in the day, most big guys, well, let's just bounce. Let's do the hit the ropes and shoulder tackle and nobody goes down. I'm like, that shit's so fucking boring to me, man.
Yeah, no, first of all, right?
I love bumping. So, and that can be a detriment to your career sometimes, because if you're a good bumper and you love bumping and you take good crisp bumps for people, then you end up bumping for people because they see it and they're like, man, I want this dude to bump for me.
There's that. There's that. We, like everybody we work, the conversation in the back is the same thing. We'll call it out there.
And that's the thing too. That right there is how you learn how to ad lib. That's the easiest way to learn how to ad lib. Look, I don't mind calling an opening, and obviously we need to know what the finish is.
Exactly.
But the middle's all, that's where we paint the picture at. That's where we paint the picture. That's where we make the start and the end connect.
You know what gave me hope for this business was a few weeks ago. We were working a team. They came up, very respectful too, which first of all, I love to see. They came up to us like, hey, well, I guess we're working y'all tonight. What do you guys want to do? We introduced each other. What do y'all want to do? It's let's go out there and walk and talk. And the guy was sitting there and says, I had this spot in mind from WrestleMania 2. I said, I looked at Brody, I was like, WrestleMania 2? This dude was born at WrestleMania 2. I'm like, shoot, I was barely born at WrestleMania 2.
Right.
And this kid is talking about doing a spot from WrestleMania 2. I had to go back and look it up. The kid told me the spot. It was a great spot. We pulled up on the phone. We're like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay, cool. Let's do that. And I was like, dude, it was awesome. Because just first of all, knowing that there are these young guys out there who are still studying.
Right.
That's guys, he's been in the business about 7-8 years. But like I said, super respectful, loves the wrestling business, and is pulling stuff from WrestleMania through out there to do. And I enjoy working them. I mean, and told the owner after that. So those guys right there, I would keep bringing back.
And
They're
there you
young,
go,
still
man.
finding themselves, but I would keep bringing them back.
Right. That's what we need, man. We need young guys who study the old. Here's the thing. You need to study the old ways. If you want to go out there and really tell good stories, you got to study the old ways of how they did this stuff, because it still works. People want to say, well, that shit's too old. No, the same shit that worked the minute wrestling first started will still work today if you do it right. It's as simple as that. It feeds into, here's the thing. It taps into everybody's human nature. Overall, we all have the same human nature about things, our natural instincts. And that's when you're doing good wrestling, is when you tap into that heart and soul of people. You know,
and that's really the key. Like, wrestling has impacted every part of my life. This book, Hell County, started off as because of the asylum. I wrote the asylum's origin story. I busted my knee, so I was their mouthpiece for a while. And me and Wraith were talking one night. I was like, dude, I just need to, because all those, when you're writing your blog online, they had all these blogging sites back then. There were tons of them. But one of them, you can modify everything. I said, well, it'd be cool if I wrote y'all's backstory from the point of view of your doctor from the asylum, right? And let's just go back there and do that, okay? And both Wraith and Psycho were like, dude, do what you want to do. We know you'll come up with something cool. Let's just do it. So I would write every week. I'd write a new entry from the doctor, right? And it was part of the wrestling stuff,
right?
So when Hell County came out, I wanted to do something with the asylum involving an actual asylum, and I thought it'd be great if I took the Wraith character and the Psycho character and did the story of these two men, unwrestling related. Like, there's no wrestling in it,
right?
What drives a man? What is their true backstory? So you could actually, this book came about because of them and because of wrestling, and delving into the psyche of these characters and finding out what makes them tick. This book would not exist if it wasn't for that.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Just if I'm thinking right, you started this book, what, 13, 14 years ago, and it kind of
14 years ago, dude.
It kind of sat dormant at times. So talk to me about what made you decide that now was the time to pick it up and finish it and get it out there to people, man.
Look, writing is hard. I mean, writing is hard. People think if you've never tried to write, you would never understand how difficult it is, especially when you're writing anything that's like this. And I didn't know. I'd taken writing classes. I've written my entire life. I've written so many stories, but this has always been the thing I've wanted to do. Publish a full novel, an actual novel, not just some little book here and there with a few thousand. I mean, a novel. And I was stuck right there. I was stuck about midway through, and I keep going back to the first 10 chapters and writing stuff and going back and like, I was, man, the writer's block was real. And then early part of this year, I would take it out from time to time, work on a few things and jot down some ideas, right? Early part of this year, I sat down and said, what if I just outline the rest of the book? What would I want to have happen? And the idea just popped in there. I was like, that's my starting point. I'll come up with my finish, and then I'm going to work backwards. And I just started flowing, and I could not stop writing.
That right there is how most of the great angles in history in professional wrestling. Look, if I'm coming up with an angle, I already know what the ending is before I know even what the finish is. I always know where the goal is here to get here, and then you got to kind of work backwards. That's a perfect correlation with pro wrestling right there, man.
It is. And I sat there and I started writing. I was like, I'll do all my matches this way. All my angles are done this way. I mean, like, I know what the ending of my angles are. why did I never not figure out I should know what the ending of my book actually is? Outline like it's supposed to be and work backwards and fix this out. Dude, I have published so many things. I am working on another big novel right now that will be out in September, probably towards the end of September. Almost as big as this book. And that's just the one I've been working on the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, I don't know what opened up here. I don't know if it was just that was the key that I needed to unlock the rest of my potential when it came to writing. But I've got a detective noir trilogy that's out already, that's published. I've written 3 children's stories. I've written 1 standalone ghost story deal. Well, 2 of them actually that are out there now. And Big Daddy's written a couple of sultry, juicy spicy.
Hey, you should have
got published the other day. So Big Daddy's had himself a couple of things.
You should have told me that, because that's really my old lady's forte on books. She likes books with either old Western books with a good looking hero in it that's got a look, and she likes the raunchy ones too. So
you just tell her to look up BD Storm, the Road series, or the new one, which is the House at Lane's End, which is my new one. It's salty, boy, sultry. It's spicy.
Now, you know damn well you're going to have to start giving me a kickback on these books when my old lady keeps purchasing these fuckers, man.
I have to, dude. But yeah, but I write my adult books under my wrestling name and keep everything else under my regular name, right? And so, but dude, I'm on a tear, and like this new book, I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait for this one to come out. But it's more of I hate to say it like this because people think, oh, what? It's more like a young adult book. When you think Harry Potter, which was technically started out as a young adult novel, but people of all ages read Harry Potter, right? It didn't matter. That's what this series is kind of like. But it's kind of like the origins of Halloween, and there's a lot of stuff tied into it. But it's another one of those things from my youth. Like, did you trick or treat when you were young?
Oh, you know I did, man.
So do you remember the feeling, the sights, the smells, just everything, the ambiance of Halloween when you were little?
Right. It ain't nothing. Right. Today's nothing like, compared to it.
But there's always a sense like when you're going out, you knew there were monsters out there, and you see your friends and stuff dressed up as ghouls, and you do the school parties, and your imagination was just overflowing when it came to Halloween.
Right.
And so that's what I'm trying to grab a hold of, or things like that. So I've tried to take my visual storytelling into this style of novel, and we're going to see how it goes. But this, baby, Hell County, this is the love of my life, because I never thought, I always knew I could, but I didn't know if I ever would, because I just couldn't get past it for 14 years. And this book right here, I am so thankful that it got done. It'd be nice if more people read it, but people don't read anymore. So I'm trying to get an audio book done now on it. Matter of fact, it'll be out in a few days. But I love this book. It's got everything you want in it. And I don't know how far your wife has gotten into this book, but there are twists and turns galore.
That's what she told me, man. She's
good. It's storytelling. It's not.
I want to say maybe she's a little over halfway through it. But before we went on the air, she told me here was the idea, Storm. If she would have got through with it, I was going to have her come on and kind of give you a review of it right here live, tell you what she thought of the book. But like I said, we ordered it from Amazon, and it took it longer to get in than it was supposed to, and she just didn't have time to finish it. But she told me already, she told me today to tell you, said, man, tell him he's already got me several times in the book. She's full of twists and turns, and she's described. I don't read, not because I don't like to read, because my eyes are so bad. Fuck, if I'm gonna read, you're gonna have to give me one of them kids' books where one page is one line. It'd have to be 10,000 fucking pages for me to read a book. But she's told me about it, man, and some of the different things in it. I feel like it's got a little bit for everybody in the book. If you like supernatural stuff, if you like horror, if you like action, I feel like it's got a little bit of everything from what she's told me.
It does, and I didn't want it to be so over the top that it was unrealistic. And I can't say more than that. but I didn't want it to be so over the top that was unrealistic. Like, especially when you get to the later half of the book, there are things that are happening. You're going, wait a second, what is this? But by the end of the book, you're going, oh shit. All right. I wrote one book, right? Midnight Rodeo. It's a semi-horror book that's out right now. And our good friend Tiger read the book and cussed me out for days.
I didn't know Tiger could read, man. What are you talking about?
I didn't either. But apparently he can because he hated the ending of it. Right? He hated the ending of it because he was so invested in the characters at that point. He hated the ending of it. It was great. But
it's like watching a killer pro wrestling match and the finish, not what you expected.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
God
like,
damn.
what the fuck?
Right.
So you're like, wait. But it's fun when you can elicit those kinds of responses, and when people give me feedback on the writing, especially because it's one of the things I'm hardest on myself on is my writing. Like, am I good enough to actually be a writer? Is it something that I can do? Because you're already seen as a meathead. All right. Just my size alone and the way I look, my genetics screams meathead.
Right.
All right. The one thing I've heard more than anything when it's come to this writing is, I didn't know you knew words like that. I'm like, what words? Help. I mean, what are you saying? So, you know what I mean? People have already got you pegged as one thing, and they don't think you can do things like this that they consider, I guess, only, super intelligent people can do. And that's just not true. I think anybody can do it. You just have to put in the effort to do it. All right. This is no matter what it is. Do I want to do this thing? Yes, I do.
And I still feel like that it's just like wrestling. It's about having the people reading your book. They have to connect with some of these characters. At least one of them they have to emotionally connect with to make them want to continue to read this book and see what happens to this character right here. And talking about writer's block, man. Writer's block's a real thing, and it's a real thing in wrestling. That's kind of why Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler switched off every 6 months, I believe, is because, I mean, if you're trying to book a weekly show every single week of the year, it don't take long. You might, and look, if you're fresh at it, you might get 2 years worth of stuff, but there comes a point where you need to pull back and step away and recharge because you're out of ideas, man. What do you feel like brought you out of your writer's block, man?
I was just sitting here one night and so I'm sitting in my studio, and it wasn't facing, it was flipped from where it is right now, but I was just sitting there like, I've been wanting to do it. And I've been telling myself for months, just get it done. I need to get it done. Just start writing. And I'll tell you what it was. There's a friend of mine owns a theater here in town that's called the Toby, right? Toby Cinemas. And his mother, I wrote the initial Hell County book was a 6-chapter mini novella I wrote 14 years ago, just to see if anybody would even be interested in something I was going to write. And so I got great feedback then, and whether or not they were just telling me that, I didn't know, but it was all great feedback. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to turn that into a novel. That was the basis for my novel. So I incorporated that into this book. And every time I go into a visit, she always asks me, well, where are we at? Where are we at? And so for the last 8 years, we've been stuck in one place, literally one place.
Right.
And she's not getting any younger.
No.
And one night I was like, you know what? I need to get this done before she passes away. Right. And so I'm sitting in my studio and I've got the lights out and I've got the book pulled up, and I was like, man, why can I not solve this? What is happening here? I knew where I was at. And then what happened was I was sold on one idea, right? You know how it is when booking, you get sold on one idea, and by God, that's the idea we're going with. But as I sat there, I said,
got to be willing to pivot, man. In the pro wrestling, you got to be willing to pivot.
And my words I always go with are one of a few things: what if, or I wonder. It's a variation on those two. It's how I do with my booking. It's how I do when I come up with my matches. Like when I come out with my match, I'm like, what if? And then so I was sitting there, And it hit me. The finish hit me for the book. I was like, I know it'd be really cool is if I did da. And I'm like, well, dumbass, why don't you do da. And it just exploded.
There you go.
It exploded. I can't tell you what that thing was. It gives away the ending of the book, but it just exploded. I was like, oh shit. And I just started outlining it. I'd never done an outline, which if you're going to be a successful writer, you got to outline everything now. So
well, explain that to us, because that's what I'm interested in, man, is the process of writing a book, because I mean, I'm also interested in the process of writing a movie too. I feel like they're probably pretty similar, but talk to me about the actual process of writing a book and actually then once it's finished, getting it out there to the public, getting it published, man.
All right, so funny you say that, because I was a screenwriter before I became a novel writer. Right, I've written a few screenplays. One of them won a short story screenplay award for best short story screenplay. All right, it's based on baseball, and it was a kind of a fantasy baseball deal. But it's one of those where when you're writing, like with cinematic writing, when you're writing a screenplay, you break it down into acts. Really, like, this is my first act is going to be this, and then you're just writing, right, scene to scene, and you're going. Right, you really don't have to do that as much. It's more like straight line writing. You know what the beginning and the ending is. A couple of things I want to throw in there, and how do we weave those and make those work? What's my plot line? What's my through thread? And let's go. With your novels and with writing like that, you want to say, all right, here's my prologue. If you're writing one of my introductions, this is my introduction to the story. But then here's my finish to the story. Now I need to make this journey, and your outline is your journey all the way through it. Chapter 1 is the asylum, and you're introduced to the asylum. Chapter 2 is Sheriff Jay Cooks, even though that's not really what it is, people, so don't think I'm giving anything away. So I'm just letting you know. But that's how you do it. And you start weaving it in, and within that, and you have to outline your chapters. So you have, my book consists of 21 chapters. My new one consists of 22 chapters. And I've got that outline. And then I've got an outline of each chapter under what the heading is, right?
Right.
So when I introduce you to, say, Pumpkinstone, this town, inside of that is what's happening in chapter 1 of that town. And I go, chapter 2, I want to go here. Bam. And I outline that. So then you're just filling in the blanks after that. Once you can learn to outline, it all opens up, and it's so easy after that. And that's to anybody who wants to write. Outline. Find you a program out of it. There's tons of programs that help you outline stuff. Just go outline and then write. Because once you get your outline done, boom, I'm 3/4 of the way done. Jake is my favorite character. I would definitely read more. Oh, thank you.
That's the old lady right there, man.
That's the missus.
Yeah, man.
Jake.
Hey, look, she is a perfect book reviewer because she reads constantly. Like I said, she reads book after book after book after book after book, just like somebody else watches movies, or I watch wrestling, show after show after show.
There you go.
She reads one book till she's done with it, and then she gets another one, and boom, boom, boom. And I figured that she would be like I said, the idea was for her to come on and actually give you a book review if she'd have got finished. And I knew she'd be the perfect person to do it because she reads constantly. She reads books. She loves books, man. And she's, like I said, she's already told me, man, that you done got her 2 or 3 times in this book, man, with some of the twists and turns in it, man.
That's so good to hear, because the worst thing you want to be is a third-rate writer, right?
Worst thing you want to be is third-rate anything. You know that?
Something I don't want to be. I want to make sure that the stuff that I do is good. Right. And the Jake character, there's a lot of me in the Jake character. A lot of the stuff that I've been through in my life and have experienced is in that Jake character. It is kind of like what I do with the Wraith character and with the Psycho character. There are parts of realism in all of these. And there are parts of me in every character, that can relate with what that particular character may be going through. Like, there's so much worldly bullshit happened to me that like I've got tons of stories I can tell because I can empathize with a lot of things that happen. Not only failures, but successes as well.
Right.
So that's what makes writing fun, because I can express a lot of things that maybe I can't vocalize, but through my writing, I can put things out there that most people will never know actually happened or actually true feelings. For me, it's therapeutic, but I can put it all out there through my writing, which I may never can verbalize to somebody.
Right. I get in them moods on Facebook. It's usually about wrestling,
Yeah.
but I'll go forever and won't say nothing, and I'll see something that either inspires me or ticks me off, and,
Right.
and it'll make that gear shift start running in my head, and I'll just take off with the inspiration. I don't know if I got the patience to try to write a book. I don't know, but.
It's one of those things that you ever have to have it in you that you want to do or not. And I think it's one of those things like I said earlier, I have so many varied interests, dude. It is ridiculous how many different interests I have. And people like when you were that opening monologue years, and I appreciate the intro and stuff, but I just happen to have all this stuff that interests me. And I'm just like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. I'll sit here at my computer last night, half drunk, half singing. This last night, I'll kick on the computer and let's go. Let's just do something stupid today.
Well, look, man, here's what I want to know. Emotionally, in your heart, what was it like to finish this book, get it published, and then see people buying your writing, man? It had to have been fucking awesome, dude.
Dude, so I sat there and I sent it off. I was finished with it. I'd had some rework I had to do. You have to do the reviewing, the editing, and all that good stuff that goes along with it. And after I finished it, I'm impatient. I'm like, I want this to get out. I'm ready for it. But at the same time, I'm nervous as fuck. I'm like, oh, God. I've been talking about this, and I've been putting this thing out there for years. Like, this is coming. This is coming. And now here it is. Is it any good? But I sent it out. The people who did the reviews on it loved it, right? The first part, they loved it. And I was like, and I love that, but I don't know if they're just telling me that. Like I don't know.
Right.
Are they just saying it because you know me and you don't want to hurt my feelings? That's that other part that's like, just accept what they're saying is true and go on. But when I opened up the box and my books were in it, dude, I shed tears.
I figured you did, man. I seen the live where you opened up the box. With the first shipments of books, and man,
I couldn't talk there for a second.
And I thought that's fucking cool right there, man. It's gotta be cool.
It took my breath away. I mean, it was like, I got teary eyed. I was like, oh my God, because that's a lifelong dream. I remember being in Food Basket. That was the name of the grocery store in Clarksville, Texas, a town of 27, right? From when I was a 15-year-old kid, bagging groceries. And I remember wanting to be a published author then. And one of the checkout ladies asked me, what I like to do. I was like, well, I like to write. One day I want to write a novel. I remember saying that because I loved it. When I was a kid, my mom bought me a blue plastic typewriter, like with a ribbon,
right.
Ribbon, all that stuff. Like you kids know what that is, right? But it's like blue ribbon. It's a blue plastic typewriter. I wrote so many stories. Yeah.
Right.
So I've always wanted to do it. It's always been a dream. And then when you open it up, and there it is. Thanks, son. I appreciate it. It is something that blows your mind. I mean, and you want to share that with everybody, but most people don't understand. They can't get the overwhelming feeling that it is. It's like, oh, that's great. I mean, good for you. And to them, it's like, that's almost like a slight.
Yeah, I don't think they realize how much of yourself, your heart and your soul you put into something like that, man.
Like they don't know what that means to you. They cannot comprehend it on any level, what that truly means to you. And, and I hear it, I'm like, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. But it's like a secondary thought. Oh, congratulations on your book. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, you know how long I've dreamed of doing this book, of doing a novel, something that 99.95% of people on this fucking planet will never do. Right? They just won't do it.
Right.
And then you act like it's just another day at the office. And for me, it's part of my soul, truly, and that's not over exaggerating or overselling it, is in that book. The things I wanted to do my entire life are in that book. My dreams are in that book. That book is me. No matter what else I do, no matter how successful all my other books become, whether they do or not, that book right there is where my heart and soul is at. It's there. It's that thing.
Here's the thing. That goes back. That takes me to bands. Bands, usually their first album, before they get famous, their debut album, that's where you get everything they got. You get their heart, their soul. That first album is a labor of love for these guys. And you know, if it flops, man, that eats you up inside. I'm sure it does. And if it's a success, it blows up, man, and more come. But I don't think any band, very few bands probably ever put out another album that tops their very first one in their minds and heart. They may have some that outsell the first one, but you know, their life story. You're getting their story in that first debut album, man.
You are, because you're pouring everything into it. Like, this is the one. I mean, you're all in, because this is the one that's going to either make or break you as a writer as far as your ability, not success of the book. It can sell only 50 copies, 100 copies. It doesn't have to sell 1 million copies for it to be successful. If it convinces you that I can do this.
Right.
I've succeeded at something that, like I said, 99.95% of people are never going to do. And it means something to me. I remember that night I was sitting there laying in my bed, couldn't go to sleep. I was so excited. And you're thinking of all the things that got you to that point. You're thinking about the book, what the possibilities could be. And then the realization comes over you that it doesn't matter if not a single fucking person buys my book. As much as I would love for it to take off and sell 1 billion copies.
Right.
I'm like, Chad, you did it. You did the thing that most people never thought you could do, first of all, whether it was consciously or subconsciously, and whether you probably weren't sure you were ever going to be able to succeed at doing it, because it's been so long. It's been such a tribulation trying to get this done. And I remember laying that night. It was such a crazy feeling to experience that. Seldom do you ever get that in your life, to where it's just, there's a defining moment for you. And it doesn't have to be anybody else. It's just with you, to where you're going, I don't care what anybody else thinks at this moment. I did the thing I set out to do. And then when I hear people read it and they love it, it just adds, it just stacks on top of that. The happiness that I get from people reading it and enjoying it, it's hard to put that into words. I love hearing that.
Right.
When it's one of those things you can't talk to people about it, because you can't. How do you convey that level of satisfaction and gratification that you have? And I am very grateful to everyone who buys this book and reads it, but I have such an amount of gratitude for the ability to do it and to share a story with somebody that they get to invest their time in. Right? It's like, and that's why I mean, like when you asked me earlier about the UWA and what those belts would mean, when I tell you what it would mean to me to win those belts, it's like that. It's that justification that your whole career, everything you strive to do, when people doubt you and they say you're no good, or they try to put so-and-so is better than you, this person, you're not, this person, I don't care. What I care about is the fact that I show up, I work hard, people believe in what I do, whether that's writing, whether it's in my stories, or whether that is in that damn ring. They believe that Big Daddy Storm, the Savage Brotherhood, they believe that Chad R. Martin writing Hell County, they believe in what he's brought, that he's brought me some enjoyment into my life. Like there's something here that person right there has done for me. And, you know, it's tough. You would tell you the hardest part? I'll share this with you. I was never going to say this, but I'll say this. The hardest part of all of this is the people you expect to support you don't.
Man, I think that's across the board with damn anything anybody does and is successful at, dude, I feel the same way. A lot of times you feel like, man, it surprises you sometimes because you're expecting, well, these are going to be the ones to be behind me, help me push this, push me. And then you realize that, undercover, they're kind of hating on you, man. Most of the time, I feel like it's because of jealousy. I feel like because they wish they were trying to do something that you're trying to do.
I do, and I think that and a lot of it, I guess, also comes down to, do they really believe that you actually did something that's worthy of praising? Did you do something that's actually worthy? I could count on 2 damn fingers the number of family members who have supported me in this.
And that's crazy right there. That's crazy. I'll be honest with you. You know,
I'm like, really? Really? Because here's the thing. I always make myself available for people. You need something, I'm there. I'm the one you call, because it don't matter if I can't walk today. I'm still going to walk to show up to help you out. Right? That's how I live my life. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You need something, just call me. I'll try to make it work, and I'll get there and I'll help you. You don't have to do something alone. I spent 3 hours from 12 o'clock the other night till 3:30 in the morning talking to a guy off a ledge, right? Metaphorically, because he's in such a bad mental state. Right. I was tired. I wanted to go to sleep, but that dude needed me to be there for him. And so here we are, right? And to me, it's the same way with this book. My family knows I wrote this book. And I think there is a level of pride there that, hey, he wrote a book. That's great. But do you think any of them purchased this book? One has. My son has. He told me, I was like, dude, I ordered you one and just gave it to you. But
and I feel like I feel like family and a lot of times your friends too, I feel like they expect you to give them a book or whatever it is. It don't matter what it is. I feel like they expect that, when I don't think they take into consideration the greatest way they can show you that they're behind you and show you appreciation for what you accomplished is by buying this thing. Buy it. And I'm telling you right now, Storm, next time we're on the same show somewhere, I'm bringing this book. My old lady wants you to autograph it. And every book she buys that you write, I want to get autographed, man, because I do believe. Hey, she's all into that, man. She's all into that, man.
I got some.
Hey, she's from old school Fabio days, man. That's the cover she likes, man.
Dude, this latest one is straight off the Fabio bandwagon. It's good. It's good.
Storm, I 100% believe one of your books are going to hit for you, man. I do. So. I believe they will. Whether it's Hell County or whether it's one of the other ones you're writing or going to write, I believe if you keep at it, one of them is going to make that break. You're going to get that one that for some reason 1 million people decide, hey, I have got to read this book. I've got to purchase this book. And I hope it happens for you, dude, 100%. Here's the thing. We're all, like you said, all of this is from wrestling. Everything I've ever done is pretty much from wrestling. Has something to do with wrestling or was because of wrestling. Yep. So I love, what did I tell you when we wanted to book this, man? I said, we're going to talk about the book. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about wrestling, but I do not want this podcast to be tied up in 99% wrestling and 10% about the book, because that's what I wanted to bring you on here for, was to talk about your writing, talk about this getting published, because for me, it's a big deal when any of the boys accomplish anything outside of the pro wrestling realm. I think it's great, dude. I do. I 100% think it's great.
Well, I appreciate it. But, and again, though, it's funny because none of this happens without wrestling.
There you go.
I mean, literally, this book does not happen without wrestling. You know, it's just because when I said I wanted to write a novel, I never knew what that was going to be or what that would ever look like until wrestling, you know, and what wrestling represents and the multifaceted layers that wrestling is. True wrestling, we grew up with what that is. And that's why I still want to be around even after we retire to help out. But there's a lot of miles left before that ride off into the sunset.
Well, look, before we get out of here, let me touch on this for a second. You got this book out. It's published. People are buying it. We bought it. We bought off of Amazon, like I told you before before this podcast, before I hit you up, I was gonna buy it straight from you. I started to hit you up. Matter of fact, that's how I got on the post with you telling the woman that if she bought it from Amazon, it'd probably get to her quicker and it would help your book in the ratings with Amazon, however it works. And I told the wife, I said, let's buy it from Amazon because that's going to get him something out of it. If we buy it from him, he's going to get the money for it. But like you told me earlier, you don't get the recognition. At least when they go to Amazon and buy it, it counts. It counts.
That's right. Like, I make more money selling them myself, but the long-term viability of the book rests on the sales from that site and reviews that go to that site, because that's how it pushes it up that chart, and that's how people discover it. And I just want people to read it. I don't care that I make less money off of it that way. I care about people reading the book and enjoying it.
Here's the old lady again. She says, Hell County has been really good. She says, I can picture every scene in my head. Would make a good sci-fi show. And that's where I was headed, Storm. This book, it's out there. It's been published. What happens if some studio comes calling and they want to turn this thing into my idea was a movie, but now she's talking a television show. Talk about that, because look, it might be far-fetched right now, but it's also very, very possible that this thing could go from being a book to something way bigger than just a book, man.
Let me tell you, I actually had a producer that was interested in it before the book was finished, because a mutual friend of ours knew it was helping me do some of the proofreading on it early, right? So about 2.5 years ago, they were talking about it, and they had got the first half of the book, before I ever got the rest of it finished. And they're really interested in, hey, what can you do for the rest of it? And let's see it. And they're going to want to turn it into a screenplay. So the interest can be there if it gets in the right people's hands. Right. And I thought about, to me, it's like she mentioned, the shows on Sci-Fi or HBO or whatever, Netflix, those limited series, 6 to 8 episodes, season ones or whatever, where they do really cool, gritty stuff. That's how I envision Hell County. Because I think Hell County serves visually, as visual as it is, I think that really serves for that, just like she mentioned there. And that's the dream. If somebody can get a hold of that and do it, let's go.
See, in my head, I felt like, a new version of Stephen King, man.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
Dude, it could happen, Storm. It could very well happen.
It could. I believe it could. I'm trying to lower my expectations, I guess, a little bit, because one thing, it's so hard is getting reviews. I've had lots of people read this book, but I've had 5 reviews on it. And that's not hating on the people reading it, because I know how hard it is, because I've read people's books and meant to give reviews, and I'm the world's worst about going up there and doing it.
Right.
It only takes 2 minutes, right? It's still something that you never think about. So I know there's nothing mean-spirited about it. It's just, it would be great if we could get them to write the reviews. But I know it's one of those things that's outside out of mind.
Yeah, well, and look, and you know as well as I do, people's attention spans nowadays, it surprises me that people still have the attention span to read a damn book, man.
Well, it's that, and I was surprised to learn just how popular books still are. I mean, Amazon is selling billions in books. Billions. It's ridiculous. And that's what still gives me hope. It's just, unfortunately, none of the people I know can read. That's what that seems.
Yeah, look, they don't even want the damn book if you give it to them. The only way they want it is if you come and read it to them, man.
So when I put out my first adult book, right, my first adult Audible book, I gave away all these books. I just wanted the reviews. I'm like, just listen to it. It's only an hour and a half long. Go listen to it and then write the review. So my dear brother Brody, he can't. It kills him. I was like, dude, it's a female narrator. But I know you wrote it, man. I know this came out of your mind. I'm like, so what? Like, what does that mean? I can't have those thoughts in my head. Like, you've got those thoughts in your head anyway. What does it matter that I wrote it? It's not me reading it. Oh, dude, it's funny.
Man, I could just see Brody in his head. You got this fine ass body, female body, Storm's head on it, man.
That's right. How you doing?
There you go, man.
It trips him out. You know it trips him out. It was funny though, but yeah, it's just what it is. But I do appreciate it and thank your wife so much for reading my book. That means the world, man.
Dude, when she gets through with it, I'll make sure she of course she will anyway. She already said she would, but I'll make sure she goes and gives it a review.
No, I do appreciate that. It means everything. But I just can't wait to talk to her after she finishes the book.
Right.
That's what I really want to know right there. How did the ending grab you?
Well, so far she's into it, man. Every time I turn around, I want to watch a TV show or something. I'm reading this book right now. I'm into this book. So she's into it, dude.
Tell her to read it to you out loud.
Man, she ain't gonna do that, man. Look, I will tell you this: when the Audible comes out, when the audio book comes out, I am gonna get the audio book and listen to it. Cool. I would read. I just can't see good enough to read, man.
Look, when the audio book comes out, I'm gonna send you a free link for it. You ain't got to pay for this thing. I'm gonna send it to you.
Do that,
so
man.
You can hear it and then just give me a review on it. But I will send it to you. That way you can just have it to travel up and down the road with, or whatever you're listening to. But that way you can hear it. It's about 13 hours long.
Don't send it to me, man. That's how I watch podcasts. That's how I listen to podcasts.
There you go. I will send you the book. When it comes out, I will send you the link and I'll give you a free copy of that book. If you'll just sit there and read it and just listen to it, think about it. I do want a series, by the way. I do. Hill County, I am working on book 2.
So look, man, we're fixing to wrap it on down. But before we get out of here, tell everybody exactly where and how to get this book, man, or any of your other works out there, dude.
You can get Hill County on most sites that sell books. Amazon's by far probably the easiest place to ever order from. I think you can get it on Goodreads too, and what is it? Barnes and Noble has it on their site, so you can get this book anywhere. You can get the hardback, like I've got. You can get the paperback right there. They have the same kind of cover, that matte black.
Yeah.
That's on there that feels so good in your hands. Not that slick, glossy stuff. So you can get
not that patent leather, huh? Not that patent leather.
No. Go get that good stuff. But you just go to Amazon and get it. It's the easiest thing to do. It's Hill County by Chad Martin. Go look it up there and get yours.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Storm, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on. This is the first podcast I've done in over a month, and I've been looking. Hey, I've been looking forward to it, man. I knew this was going to be a good podcast. Here's the thing. Sometimes, I mean, when you're in the wrestling business and you're always talking, thinking about wrestling, sometimes it just gets boring. That's all you ever talk about. Wrestling and the wrestling business, man. And like I said, anytime somebody in the wrestling business does something outside of the wrestling business, man, I'm all for promoting that and talking to you guys about it, because for me, that's what it's all about. More of us needs to become bigger outside of the wrestling business, because it would give more wrestlers opportunities if they were good enough to write books and different things.
Yeah, I think the wrestlers need to understand it's okay to talk about the other things you do, because that makes up who you are. Wrestlers, I know there are many wrestlers out there who have a lot of cool things that they probably do in their personal life, whether it's hobbies, shoot job, whatever. They've got those things that they love to do. Don't be afraid to talk about those. You need to pursue the things that you enjoy, because you got one shot at life that you know. Stop wasting it.
Right. Chance says it's long overdue, man.
Thanks, Chance. I appreciate it, buddy.
Dude, I appreciate you so much for coming on, giving us your time. Send me that audio book when it comes out. Send me the link for it. And when we see each other, man, I'm going to get you to autograph this book, man. And my old lady should be through with it by then, and y'all can talk in person and talk about it.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
All right, man. You take it easy, dude.
Brother, thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Fucking hear me. Hold on, guys. It's been a month. It's been a month since I've done this shit. So just relax. Guys, I want to thank everybody who tuned in and watched this, interacted with us. I will be back next Sunday night. I got Austin Mulitalo and Jet Hero. They've got a big match coming up Friday, September 5th, and they're going to be on the podcast next Sunday night, and they're going to face off with each other, man, and it could be fireworks. I do not know. Be sure you tune into that. And you know I got to promote the Dirty Dozens. Don't forget that. This is a huge deal for me, guys. I need, if you ever wanted to support anything I've done, tune in Sunday night, September 14th at 8 p.m. to the Dirty Dozens Pro Wrestling Roast Battle. I can promise you this, it's going to be fun. These guys are going to have fun. They're going to shred each other on the microphone, and two of them is going to walk away $50 richer and into the second round. And that night, I'm going to debut the October event, the contestants for the October event. So you'll get all that on September 14th. Let me promote these podcasts, not these podcasts, excuse me, guys. Let me promote this Dirty Dozens and my sponsors one more time, and then we'll let y'all get out of here.
You already know who it is. We be bustin'. It's Big Bustin', baby. And I got some Dirty Dozens for y'all. We be bustin'. Wrestling roast battle. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready. We be bustin'. Here we go. Who be bustin'? We be bustin' like Blassie, like William Perry, we hustlin'. Big in these streets like Big Buster. You a sucker like Lou Brother, who trusted? We be bustin'. Lick off shots, shouldn't get clocked. Knick knack, patty whack, give a dog a bone. Dirty Dozens with my bros. Step into the zone, wrestling roast battle, leave that alone. We be bustin'. We be bustin'. We be bustin'. We be bustin'. We be bustin'.
All right, y'all, before I want to get out of here, I want to send a shout out to Divine Productions for the intro music. This dude is off the charts, man. If you need custom intro music to come out as a wrestler, theme music for a podcast, or anything you need custom music for, go check out Divine Productions. Robert Carter Jr. This dude's a genius at this, man. I love what he done for me. Go check him out. Guys, like I said, next Sunday, I'll be back. Austin Mulitalo and Jet Hero facing off. They got a big matchup coming up September 5th, and they're going to go face-to-face next Sunday night. All right, guys, until then, y'all take it easy.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.